People, Deluded, I'm back again. I hope you're all doing well and safe. Now, in the last couple of hours, I'd say there's been some emerging Arsenal transfer news. I wish it was us confirming the signing of Thiago. Like, obviously, I like to think of myself as an Arsenal fan or an Arsenal neutral fan. Like, I'm not the tribalistic fan. Like, I think it's good for the league. It's good for the purest, football at its purest level, that the best footballers are here. And Thiago's been around the block. He's played for Barcelona. He's played for Bayern Munich. He's won a whole heap of stuff at both clubs. And he's joining another prestigious club in Liverpool. So for the neutrals, obviously, he's of Brazilian heritage, Spanish grown up, Spain and Brazil. It's not fair. Like, it's not fair. For me, seeing Thiago is going to be good because he's one of my favourite players. It's sad that he's joined obviously, them man there. He can do the, he can play very simple. He can mix it up, he sees the picture 10 minutes before it's happened on the field. He's a baller. It's sad that his first game's probably going to be against us. Like, I saw Klopps' press conference, press conference, and he said, depending on media duties, he'll join in the session today, which is, I assume, late evening / late afternoon. Probably too early for him to be involved against Chelsea at the weekend. He could be on the bench, he's played, he's worked with Bayern Munich. He probably is fit, but maybe it's too early. Probably likely, he's more likely to start against Arsenal, and I mean, the prospect of Xhaka and Eldene, they've both been playing quite well, but the prospect of those lot trying to press Thiago and already the industrial midfield of Liverpool and, the front three, it makes me quite nervous, people. I'm not going to lie, I've got faith in Arteta and his tactics. I've got faith in the fact that we beat them in the last 2 games to put in a convincing performance. But it's crazy. I guess at least this season Firmino has to score goals because Thiago's there now. If you know, you know. But in relation to Arsenal, yeah, we ain't confirmed no signings, man. Partey, Aouar, apparently the Icelandic keeper Runarsson is at London Coley, said hi to his new teammates, probably dotting I's and crossing T's. Now, apparently, people, if I scroll up on my laptop because it's right in front of me, Diego Simeone has reportedly contacted Lucas Torreira and told him he wants him to sign for Atletico Madrid. Now, that could just be people inventing rumours. They want a player from us, we want a player from them, Torreira's kind of replaced by Partey, and that Torreira right now is the only guy that can put a foot in midfield, or that's his specialist. Partey's more box to box, but there's similarities. So it's like they lose one, we gain one, we gain one. Well, we both lose in games, you get it, people. So I'm all for that, for Torreira it'd be good, he play for, Simeone. That system is similar, it's more aligned to Uruguay than Arsenal, so he would thrive in that system. I feel, an Argentinian and a Uruguayan man, they're very passionate and they'll hit off in there. Obviously, there's been many South American players that have played for them, and Torreira, I'm sure he's a big fan of Forlan. Forlan's previously played for them. You can follow another Uruguayan going through there. So I feel the system, the way Simeone likes to play and all them things there, it would help Torreira. Obviously, you hear a lot of talk about Torreira wants to return to Italy and things. I'd imagine the way of life in Spain is more aligned to Italy, or more importantly, more aligned to how it might be in Uruguay, where he grown up, than obviously England, because I think there's a lot of reasons as to why it hasn't happened for Torreira. He's had injuries, he's lost his confidence, there's some tactical problems, but I just feel he hasn't settled in England and he does come across as a bit of a sissy. I don't want to lose Torreira. I'm one of the fans that are badly hoping that, in an ideal world, Aouar and Partey come in and we don't lose Torreira, but losing Torreira is a reality. If they want Torreira, and we want Partey, of course there's some common ground. Now you see Torreira rated in terms of sale as little as 18 million and as high as I've seen as 26. So can we say we'll give you Torreira, he represents a 26 million pound player, and we'll make up the rest, or whatever, we'll throw you some change, forget Partey's release clause, let's get this thing going, sort of thing. Or maybe we give up on Partey and we say, Aouar was the target. You want Torreira, you pay our cash, and we do what we need to do in that regards. The Partey one's going to go down to the wire, in my opinion. I'm of the belief, again, I'm not involved in anything, to do with Arsenal, but I'm of the opinion you need to be prepared for the worst. You hear a lot of us, our dealings is having to move people on. Torreira looks like he's gone. There could be movement with Guendouzi. Kolasinac and Socrates, one's linked with Leverkusen, the other's linked with Napoli. There could be some progress. But clearly we need to get players out before we can bring them in, especially the financial package that would probably go with signing Aouar and signing, obviously signing Partey. So it depends how quickly you can get people out. I'm not involved in Arsenal, so we might be working on it. But for me, the longer this goes on, the more nervous I get, because we knew for months the sort of window we had. We knew what we had to do. We knew outgoings was a big thing. And the only thing I'm like to see in the last few months, that wasn't the case. You know, we've confirmed the signings long term of Bukayo Saka and obviously Aubameyang. That's two futures speculation things put to bed, but there's still question marks, you know. I'm not saying these players need to go or not, and obviously there's various reasons as to why they're still here, but Mesut Ozil is still here, Guendouzi is still here, Kolasinac is still here, Torreira is still here, Matt Macy is still here, Callum Chambers is still here, Mustafi is still here. Do you get it, people? It's not enough progress. We've got 3 million for Greenwood, we've got 20 for Martinez. You know, what other sales are we trying to do to generate funds? So I don't know how much we can do without actually doing anything else. And this is where you're looking at the owner to dip his hand in his pocket. Is that going to happen? I'd leave that to you lot to answer. I'm sure you all saw in the last few days, you know, Kroenke ain't put no peas in. When you're in a situation like this, you know, you'd hope your owner's putting money into the club. But then again, you're seeing his NFL team doing well, and he's a visual presence there. The same luxury is not afforded to my club and the club I die for, unfortunately. This is why I try not to get my hopes up, because beyond believing in Arteta and him and Edu doing a madness, there's no reason to be positive. Like, we've got the young players, we're making the changes at boardroom level. But for me, it comes from above. Like, Edu and Arteta can do a madness, but it comes from above, you know. Fair enough, Chelsea, you know, been a bit patchy last season, but Roman Abramovich has got what he set out to do. He bought Chelsea to win Premier League and Champions League. He's done that. You know, he's splashing the cash. He craves excellence. He wants to be a winner. Why do you think, you know, you go down the levels now, you've got Marina, who, I don't know Chelsea's thing, but I know Czech is there now, but I believe the Marina woman, she deals with the transfers and dotting the I's and crossing the T's. She's gained a reputation. Well, she's had a fierce reputation for getting business done, but she does that even more because she knows the person that employs her is not going to be happy if she don't get things done. You know, from the youth to that to Roman, it's there. I see Eddie wants to be a winner. I see Mikel Arteta wants to be a winner. I see the man then brought in around him, but it's going to have to come from above. It's a bit like Spurs and Poch, you know. At a point, you know, Poch and Spurs looked like they were building something, and it looked like, you know, you grab one or two players, it would be my worst nightmare, and that, you know, they could put in a decent shout for the Premier League once upon a time. But Levy didn't want to buck in the peas and stuff like that, and that's where we are. I'm not calling for 100 million, man, but come on, man, it's evident, you know, if we can't move players on and these players are not bringing in good salaries, we need to do something, man. Maybe we need to give up on one target. It doesn't get much better, folks, because, you know, James Ollie has reported Arsenal will need to sell several fringe players before they can make a signing like Aouar this summer, who apparently wants to join us and is Arteta's #1 target. But, you know, the Lyon president has said, when asked if we're going to sign him, he said, no, I don't think so. There's no offer yet. It seems that Arsenal don't want to or can't invest the price for Hussam, who is our best player. Now, that could be, you know, that's a cryptic message. Lyon's president owes us nothing. Yeah, we've bought Lacazette before and things like that. He owes us nothing. He knows that, again, there's been no offers. Apparently, Arsenal's interest is the most concrete, but, you know, City, Juventus, you know, all the top teams will be hovering for developments and might even make a move. You know, Bayern Munich, they might say, you know what, let's take this 30 from Thiago, add a little change on that and go and get Aouar. He knows that. So why is he going to, even if Arsenal legitimately did praise an offer, why is he going to come out and say that? You know, that's also very smart from him, because it kind of disses Arsenal. He's saying we're broke boys, which we are. It's like, if you want the player, put the money on, you know. And for Arsenal, we're going to have to be a bit sensible. Like, I think we are going to try, or have been trying to make a genuine effort at signing Aouar, but that's where it's looking like it's going to end, because at the end of the day, money on the table. They want the cash, pay them, man. And these sort of signings will pay for themselves, you know. The reality is, if he develops to the level a lot of us think he could do, you know, the Madrids in these clubs, become available. I believe he's been called up to the French team. Has he made his cap yet? Or if he has, he hasn't made too many caps. So there's the scope to get better. You know, it doesn't look like we're able to sell players, you know. The players that we would have to sell to raise funds, I don't want them gone. In an ideal world, I don't want Torreira gone. I don't want Guendouzi gone. Maitland-Niles was linked with moves away. But if it has to be done, it has to be done. The players that should be moved on, like Mustafi, big up Mustafi for his form, but he's got a year left on his deal. Big up El Nene for his chances he's taken, and I'll support him. But in the ideal world, these are the players you need to move on. Kolasinac the same, Socrates the same. You know, there's many players in and around that team, sort of thing. We might even have to look at, you know, can we start loaning out some of our players for loan fees? You know, can we get 2-3 million to send Reece Nelson out on loan to throw towards this? You know, we've got to be very creative. We have to be very, very creative, man. Arteta recognises that our squad is imbalanced, as he said before. And, you know, he knows that selling is going to have to happen, because you look at some of the comments he's made in the press conference, which I'll review after this. He said, we are trying all the time to adjust the squad in the most efficient ways. It's clear at the moment that it has to go both ways. And in order to achieve that, we still have some time, but we're pretty clear in what we're trying to do. So that's the only saving grace. I back Arteta fully, you know. He knows something. I think he has a plan. Sometimes you just have to trust. I trust Arteta. I don't trust necessarily people around him and whatnot, but I trust Arteta. I trust him wholeheartedly until he gives me a reason not to. You know, Arteta trusts Edu. I'll fight with Edu for this purposes. So let's get it done. This is a man who recognises we need to move players on. But again, it's easier said than done. You look at the double whammy. The players that I've just named, you can find roles for them and homes, and they're not necessarily bad players, but are they attractive players to go for in a COVID market for top dollar? No, they're not, people. And also, they're on very respectable contracts, and the players, as much as I think they should be moved on and should leave, you know, if I'm Kolasinac, I can't even lie to you, people. I'm in no rush to bust out of Arsenal on 95 bags a week at 32 in this COVID society, you know, with affecting the market. Am I going to get that somewhere else? If this Napoli thing is true and they'll give you something similar to that, then cool, go and do your thing. But I'm not going to force it. If I'm Mustafi, I've got a year left on my deal, I'm not going to force it. If I'm El Nene, I'm happy to be here. I'm not going to force it. I know El Nene's been vocal apparently on wanting to leave. And there's stuff like that. Arsenal want these players to move on more than we want them to. Don't get it twisted. They're professional footballers. I don't doubt for a sec that they all want to sit on the bench. I know they all want to play. But you have to consider the variables, people. You really do. It's as simple as that. You put the money on the table for both players. You get them sell players to do this thing. And, you know, it's frustrating because, again, just a little cash injection from people that own this club would make it go a long way. But that's wishing on a star. Like I said, people, beyond my hope for Arteta, you know, it's almost blind hope. Not blind hope, because that's disrespectful, because I believe in what Arteta's shown me so far. But blind hope in a sense of beyond my belief for Arteta and the recognition that one man can't move it along, you know. Klopp couldn't get Liverpool to the level they are now alone, no matter how good of a coach he is. Do you get it? So how can I expect Arteta to do that? Beyond my admiration and belief in Arteta, I don't have much faith in the other variables to do with this football club around him. So, you know, for me, I'm of the belief, you know what? I hope you've got plan B and C targets in relation to Partey and Aouar, because if it doesn't happen, it doesn't. You know, and we've got to play coy, because everyone's going to keep their cards close to their chest. There's probably a lot of poker face business going on in relation to it. So we'll have to see. But obviously, it's not beneficial to hear that, really, you know, in relation to Aouar. For me, you might as well just swap Torreira and Partey if Diego Simeone wants him. I don't know if that's true, because that one there's been recycled before. So could it just be another journalist trying to get paid on a quick Friday making up stuff? I don't know. We'll have to see. You know, the window closing in October. It is making me quite anxious the longer we run this over. But there's still a long time, you know. Thiago and Liverpool, it seemed at loggerheads for a while. And then when it seemed there was motions in play, it's been done quite quickly. He's been announced today. To a degree, Bale's loan move to Spurs the same. To a degree, even Gabriel for us, it moved quite quickly along. So I've got hope of that, but seeing is believing, man. And again, I want to hone the point of, if you cannot bring me Aouar and Partey, you need to bring me two players of the same profile, you know. And this is what we've known for a while, but just specific to this year, you know, you need creativity. We're like 16th for chances created. You know, you need a tenacious midfielder. I know we've got rid of scouts and whatnot, but there should be targets drawn up. There should be, you know, in the worst case scenario, who we're going to get. We heard we're going to use stat DNA in a way that we ain't used it before. Go and get on the stat DNA and find players of a similar profile to both players. Because that's all I want is 2 centre mids. For me, if you don't get 2 centre mids, one minimum, you can kiss top 4 goodbye. You can kiss it, because, you know, I'm not saying we won't go on good runs of form and stuff like that. But at some level, these players will show you this season that they're not of the ability to get top 4. And I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong. Do you think it's nice to say that about my team? I have faith in Arteta improving us. And what I like about Arteta, he's a good tradesman. He's never once since he's come here blamed his tools. He's worked with what he's used. And to a degree, I like that about him. He's found little niches and roles for players that we thought didn't have a future here. But at the same token, a tradesman's only good as his tools. You know, he needs to upgrade. He's got the upgrade with Saliba and Gabriel, and that's going to prove its worth in years to come. The central midfield is another thing, and it needs to be done, people. I've got nothing more to say, man. I'm staying here longer than I thought, so I'm going to get out of here. It's always a pleasure. DG.